going to talk about kind of a handy function that you have in Excel called PMT. And it's used to calculate a payment on a loan that has a set interest rate over a set amount of time. And so what I've done here is I've created a really basic spreadsheet. I've got the rate, which is going to go here in B1. I've got the number of years I'm going to be paying off this loan for, and then I have the value, the amount that I borrowed. And then it should be able to calculate out what my payment is. Let's say in this case I'd like to know per month. So let's start putting in some numbers here. Now, I just bought a minivan. I know what you're saying, but family's getting bigger, so got to do something. So the rate I'm going to put in is 5.5%. Number of years, let's say I'm going to pay this off in 3 years, and we spent $18,000 on the minivan. So here's all these values. And now I would like to know what the payment would be per month. What kind of payment I could expect if I went ahead and bought this car. Okay? So to do that, I'm going to click on the cell I want the payment to be calculated in. I'm going to go to the Formulas tab. I'm going to go under this book here called Financial. And under the Financial book, it lists all your financial functions. And if I scroll down, there's one here called PMT. If I leave my mouse over, it actually tells me, calculates the payment for a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate. So if I choose that, it pops up my function arguments here. So the first thing it says is, where is the rate? Well, that was in B1. And it is important that I typed in a percentage symbol there because it then gets interpreted as a percent. So I'm going to say my rate is in B1. Now I am trying to calculate a monthly payment. So I'm going to need to divide this by 12 to get basically the interest that's going to accrue per month. The next thing it says is N per, and let's say I have no idea what that is. What is N per? Well, if I just go down to the bottom of the screen, it says N per is the total number of payments for the loan. Oh, okay. So that happens to be in B2 in this case, except that's a number of years, and again, I need a number of months. So in this case, I need to times that by 12. PV, don't know what that is. So I go down and look, it says it's the present value. It's the amount that you borrowed. Okay, sounds good. So that's in B3. Then there's two other ones here. I want you to notice that they're not bold. If a function argument is ever not bold, it means they're not required. So you don't actually have to fill this in. But let's say I'm curious. What is FV? Well, FV is future value. So that's the future value of this loan. Okay, let's say there's a balloon payment at the end or something like that. So in my case, let's say the future value of this loan, I would want to be 0. So I can leave it omitted or I can put in a 0. Then you have type. And type is if you're making your first payment at the beginning of the period. So if I got this loan for this car today, am I going to make my first payment today, or am I going to make my first payment a month from now? So if I was going to make my first payment today, I would put in the number 1. And of course, interest gets calculated differently because I'm paying more away from the principal right away. Or if you leave it blank, it's at the end of the first month, which is a lot more typical. So I'm going to leave that blank. I'm going to hit OK. As you can see, it calculates out my payment per month. And then of course all these numbers can be played with. I could say, okay, you know what, that's a bit too much. Maybe I want 15,000. Again, it recalculates the payment. So that PMT function is kind of handy. If you're interested in loan calculators, mortgage calculators, these types of things, I'm going to show you how you can utilize templates to do that, but we'll do that in tomorrow's video.